welcome to a very early Ponytails with Kellyanne video. It's going to be about 38-39 degrees here for the next 2 days in the southeast. So I have put together some handy tips to help keep your animals cool during these hot climates. As always, water is always a really important part to make sure that your horse stays hydrated. Whether they're in the field, in the stable, it's always making sure that they have access to fresh, clean and cool water. Obviously, if they're out in the field or in the stables, the water's going to heat up really quickly. So it's just making sure that you're topping it up, making sure they have plenty and keeping it cool. I also, if your horse isn't likely to drink, would encourage putting apples or maybe some apple juice in the water, just a little bit, just to make it a little bit sweeter, to encourage them to drink more than necessary. Another good handy tip I have for you is soaking their hay. Again, it's another way of whilst they're eating, they're getting some additional hydration. Obviously, if your horse is only in for a couple of hours or even just for 5 minutes, it's always a good idea to give them some extra hay that's watered down, even if they don't need it for respiratory issues or anything like that. It's just, like I said, it's another good way of getting them to eat and stay hydrated. Another handy tip I have is to make sure that you're organised with what you're going to do with your horses on these hot days. So you've got to assess their conditions really as to whether you're going to keep them in the stable or out in the field. And I know there's been a lot of people with theories and things on that, and obviously at the end of the day you've got to take your own horse's well-being into consideration. If you have wooden based stables with a tin roof or a corrugated roof, obviously they're going to get quite warm. Wood stays quite well insulated. Obviously, again, if you're in a stable which is quite ventilated, which is like Zeus's normal routine is to stay in, and for him I think it'll be less stressful for me to just keep him into his normal routine. So he is going to stay in today and go out again tonight. But obviously, as you can see, Zeus's stable is quite well ventilated. There is also an indoor school behind Zeus, so we do get an airflow coming through, and these stables do stay quite cool. I'm also going to come up at lunchtime just to make sure that he's got access to more fresh water, if needed cold hosing him, and just making sure that he's dealing okay with these hot conditions. I know a lot of people are going to be working today and tomorrow during these hot climates, but if you do have the ability to nip out on your lunch hour to go and see your animals or your equines, it's really important just to make sure that if they are out in the field or in the stable, they have fresh water and they stay cool. And if they're out in the field as well, also getting fly sprays, because obviously the flies are going to be really bad on a hot day like today. Another really important thing is electrolytes. Obviously, if your horse isn't in hard work, normally you wouldn't consider electrolytes, but obviously whilst the weather is really hot and all these horses are sweating, electrolytes are a really important way of replacing those salts that they're going to lose through just standing in the stable, standing in the field, sweating, or if you are deciding to do any mild exercise, you can get electrolytes that go in feed, they can go in water, you can get flavoured ones in case your horse doesn't like the taste of them, you can get the ones that are already in a solution, so you just add the liquid to the feed. And more recently, some feed companies have started to bring out mashes, like recovery mashes or performance mashes, which have electrolytes in them and all the goodness. So today, because Zeus loves banana's his favourite flavour, I have been using this, and you can see I've nearly finished this pouch. I'm going to get another one today. The Saracen Recovery Mash. It's 10 to 15 minutes soaking, so in cold water. So I'm going to soak this for 15 minutes. I use only a cup, so I just use 1 cup recovery mash to 2 cups of water. I don't take any water out once it's soaked or anything. It won't soak up all the water. I just put it all into his feed, and it makes a really nice slobbery mash. And it's really important. I mean, even if you don't have access to electrolytes, please try to, because they are really important to replace those salts. But if you don't and don't have access to them and can't get them, then please make sure that your equine has lots and lots of water in their feed. Like, make it really like a slobbery mash. It won't hurt them to drink it like that. And again, it's another really good way of getting lots of hydration into them. Zeus is really excited about the next one. The next one, I know they've been really popular, and they've been all over a lot of people's Facebook pages and YouTube channels, and that is the very famous Horsey Ice Pops. So this is actually, as you can see, in a balancer cup. it's got apple in it because Zeusy loves his apples. And I've obviously filled it to the brim with water. Now you can also see I've put something in the top of it, and this is to make it a little bit more interesting. So this is actually one of the Lickit holders, and that's the middle that the Lickit normally goes through to hold it onto the string. And if I go into Zeus's stable, my plan later, or at lunchtime or this evening, is I'm going to put this in the freezer now for a few hours, hang it up on here, and it's going to be a nice little ice pop for him. So that's really exciting. I will film this to see if this actually works. It probably won't appear on this video because I want to get it out before 10 o'clock this morning, but I think this is going to be quite good. I hope. But I will do another small video on this if this does work. But as you can tell, Zeus is very excited. Zeusy, do you want to ice pop? Do you want to ice pop? He loves... Oh, yes, yes. I would like this right now, Mummy. You got to wait for it to freeze first, buddy. Have it at lunchtime. Another really important thing is lots and lots of cold hosing. So Zeus, it's about 7 o'clock this morning. He's about to go and have his first hose. So Zeus has just had his first cold hose of the day. You can see he's all nice and wet. He's about to go in, have his wet hay, have his feed with his electrolytes in, and yeah, he's all ready. I'm going to then come up again at lunchtime and see him in a bit. Here you can see Zeus's stable's already. He's got plenty of water, the fresh hay that I done the video on earlier, and he's eating his feed with his recovery mash in it, the slobbery mash that I showed you. He's also quite cold to the touch, so yeah, he's all ready until I see him at lunchtime. Another little trick I have for dogs, so obviously Roxy is going to be in the house with me today, and it's really important to make sure that she stays nice and cool. So what I'm probably going to do is at lunchtime, I'm probably going to just give her a cold bath, not like freezing cold, but probably cool, just to kind of cool her off and let her have a little run around and she can cool off and dry off with that. I'm also going to keep where her bed is on the sofa, because she does sleep on the sofa. I'm going to put the fan on, the little desk fan, so she can stay nice and cool with that again today. And then also just making sure that she has access to plenty of cold water. I'm going to top it up multiple times today to make sure that she stays nice and cool. I have tried in the past making her some doggy ice creams and doggy icicles, like with little treats and stuff in, but she just doesn't like them. The only one she really likes is the proper little like scoops doggy ice cream that you can get, but I wasn't able to get any. They were out of stock of the one that she likes, so I wasn't able to get any, so I can't make her anything or anything like that, but she will be fine. She's going to have plenty of cold water. Make sure that your dog's water as well is cold but not ice cold, because ice cold water is not good for their tummies. It can give them an upset tummy, and the last thing you want is to make them poorly on a day like today. Okay, and my last couple of tricks are for Shadow the rabbit. As you know from previous videos, Shadow is an outdoor bunny, and obviously he is much happier outside. His cage, he does have access to his run 24/7, and obviously it is all wooden, his cage. But as you can see here, we've got some cut up banana, sorry, not apple, that I done yesterday. So I'm going to separate these into individual segments, and I'm going to put them in the freezer for about an hour, let them kind of cool down and set, and then I'm just going to put them back in the fridge and give him a couple every couple of hours, just so that he's got access to something a little bit mushy and cool to try and like help him in the heat. Obviously, bunnies, unlike dogs, can't pant. They really struggle to sweat, and obviously because he's quite fluffy, he's really going to suffer in this heat. I also have a cover over his cage, like a little brolly over his run and stuff, to kind of keep the direct sunlight out of his cage. So I'll quickly show you a video of that. As you can see here in the garden, Shadow has got his sunshade up, which is covering the sun coming into his run and his cage. So hopefully I'll be moving this around the garden throughout the day to keep him out the heat. That's it for the animals. They're all my hints and tricks that I'm going to be doing over the next couple of days to make sure that they all stay safe in this weather. Obviously, I'm not a vet. They are just my recommendations. Please do, if whatever animals you've got, please make sure that you do some research into heat stroke in those animals to make sure that you know the signs to look out for in case they do become unwell. And if they do become unwell, please seek advice from your vet or rush them to your closest veterinary practice. Obviously, heat stroke, especially in animals, it can be very fatal very, very quickly, and the success rate of an animal surviving heat stroke is very small. So please do be careful. Please try and do what you can. I know a lot of people with hosing. I'm going to be lucky enough to be able to go up again at lunchtime today to hose off Zeus and a couple of the other horses I've offered to do for people that can't get off work. Obviously, if you're in the situation and you can't get up there, hosing them in the morning and the evening, although you're not up there in the middle of the day, will help, and it will help them. And obviously, if you've got a yard owner, a yard manager, or even just a friend up the yard that's going to be up there, asking them just to say, oh, you know, could you just spend a couple of minutes just hosing off my horse, checking their water and making sure that they're okay. More for putting your mind at rest as well, so that you can relax and you can stay safe, and also to make sure that your animal also stays safe in these conditions. And finally, more than anything, I know we're all animal lovers, and I know we put our animals before anybody else, including ourselves. I'm guilty of it as well, but please, please do stay safe. You're just as important as the animals. Make sure you drink plenty of water. Don't go anywhere without some water with you, just in case anything happens. Make sure that you wear plenty of sunscreen, factor 50, 5-star UVA protection, anything like that. You've got to protect your skin and yourself from the sunlight, and please do make sure that you seek shade. Don't stay in the direct sunlight for too long if possible. And yeah, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope everybody stays safe. Please, if you have any more hints and tips that I haven't thought of, maybe I don't know of them, please do put a comment below, because I would really love to hear from you. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.